And my father was always emotionally distant.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's really where it's at. My father thought being a good man and a good father was just providing for his children, which was
Yeah.
enormous because considering his father was an alcoholic. So to him, being a great father was being a provider. And I just felt emotionally barren my entire life.
Hmm.
When, some people grow up and they go, I don't give a fuck about my father. I worshiped my father.
Okay. Hmm.
And for him to be emotionally cold to me and for me to worship him, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for being brave to go into some of those details
Yeah.
and let those emotions come up. So let's go to the side of the hand point here. And I'm saying, even though
Even though
it was his way or the highway,
it was his way or the highway,
and I felt so dejected
I felt so dejected
because I worshiped him,
because I worshiped him.
and he didn't show me any of that,
He didn't show me any of that,
any of what I needed.
any of what I needed.
So I had to find my own way,
So I had to find my own way.
and I did,
I did.
and I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love and accept myself
love and accept myself
and everything I went through,
and everything I went through.
and that I did find my own way,
And I did find my own way,
even though
even though
it was his way or the highway.
it was his way or the highway.
And I felt so dejected
I felt so dejected
because he was a provider,
because he was a provider,
but emotionally distant.
but emotionally distant.
And I worshiped him.
And I worshiped him.
So I really needed that.
So I really needed
Children need that.
children.
And I didn't get that.
And I didn't get that.
I had to find my own way.
I had to find my own way.
And I choose to deeply and completely
And I choose to deeply and completely
love and honor myself,
love and honor myself.
everything I went through.
Everything I went through.
And I found my own way,
And I found my own way.
even though
Even though
his way or the highway,
his way or the highway,
he was cold
it was cold
and I needed warmth.
and I needed warmth.
He was cold
He was cold
and I worshiped him.
and I worshiped him.
There were things I didn't get
There are things I didn't get
that I really needed,
that I really needed.
and I needed to find my own way.
And I needed to find my own way.
That was hard,
That was hard,
but I did it.
but I did it.
And I choose to deeply and completely
And I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself
love, honor, and accept myself.
and the fact that now,
And the fact that now,
after finding my own way,
after finding my own way,
I can be here
I can be here
for these parts of me
for these parts of me
that never got this.
that never got this.
Okay, now through the points. His way or the highway.
His way or the highway.
It was his way or the highway.
It was his way or the highway.
And that's a cliche.
That's a cliche.
It means different things.
It means different things.
But in my house,
But in my house,
the energy of that
the energy of that,
was very intense.
energy of that was very intense.
His way or the highway
His way or the highway
wasn't just for casual preferences.
wasn't just for casual preferences.
His way or the highway
His way or the highway
was very cold.
was very cold.
It felt very cold.
It felt very cold to me.
It felt rejecting.
It felt very rejecting to me.
It felt like I was being rejected.
I felt like I was being rejected.
Not just what I was doing,
Not just what I was doing,
but maybe who I was.
but definitely who I was.
Okay, yeah, who I was.
Who I was.
It wasn't behavior.
It wasn't behavior.
It wasn't something
It wasn't something
where I could just very simply
where I could just very simply
do things his way.
do things his way.
It was who I was.
It was who I was.
Who I was not okay.
Who I was not okay.
It's painful enough
It's painful enough
not getting that warmth,
not getting that warmth,
the emotional support.
the emotional support.
I did not get that.
I did not get that.
The warmth,
The warmth,
the emotional support.
the emotional support.
But on top of that,
On top of that,
it felt like who I was.
it felt like
Who I was as a person
who I was as a person
was not okay,
was not okay,
was not his way.
was not his way.
And it was his way or the highway.
And it was his way or the highway.
So the only option
So the only option
was the highway.
was the highway.
The only option was the highway.
The only option was the highway.
That's intense.
That's intense.
That's a lot for a young person
It is a lot for a young person
to realize they're on their own
to realize they're on their own
at a time
at a time
when we as humans generally need that support,
generally need that support,
need that emotional support.
need that emotional support.
What's amazing,
Can you add that to yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
To leave my father meant I had to leave God too.
To leave my father
To leave my father
meant I had to leave God.
I had to leave God too.
I had to leave God
I had to leave God
in order to leave my father.
in order to leave my father.
And I had to leave my father
I had to leave my father
because it was his way or the highway.
because it was his way or the highway.
And his way would have killed me.
And his way would have killed me.
But
And there's something inside of me that knows no difference between my father and God.
I was just going to say, yeah, my father is God.
My father is God.
My father is God.
My father is God.
And as a child, that's really an accurate statement.
It is an accurate statement.
Maybe even more so in my case.
And maybe even more so in my case.
My father was associated with God.
My father was a psychopath. My father was associated.
Yeah.
Oh.
And maybe that was part of his psychopathy.
Yeah. And could you add, what I do with my body, I've been able to have success with what I do with my body in regards to separating myself from my father. But doing things with my mind, like writing a novel, I can't seem to move forward with that.
Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah. So my body
was
able to separate.
My body was able to separate.
Oh. It had to.
It had to.
It wouldn't survive without it.
It wouldn't survive without it.
And there's a certain clarity.
And there's a certain clarity.
In the body leaving.
In the body leaving.
The body just has to leave.
The body just has to leave.
And the body's physical.
And the body is physical.
So when it leaves, it leaves.
So when it leaves, it leaves.
It's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore.
It was tough to do.
It was tough to do.
But we went through it.
We went through it.
When it comes to mind.
When it comes to mind.
It's not so physical.
It's not so physical.
Separation.
Separation.
Is a different beast.
Is a different beast.
Because even if someone's not alive.
Because even if someone's not alive.
Or physically here.
Or physically here.
We can be connected with our mind.
We can be connected with our mind.
That can stay.
That can stay.
Energetically.
Energetically.
Even if the body leaves.
Even if the body leaves.
So it might be the case.
So it might be the case.
That some parts of my mind.
That some parts of my mind.
Some parts of me that are non-physical.
Some parts of me that are non-physical.
Are still connected.
are still connected,
still have something there
still have something there.
that
A
makes it
connection,
feel Mhm.
a connection that doesn't feel like a connection.
A connection that doesn't feel like a connection.
Yeah.
There's some energy, some association.
There's some energy, there's some associate, there's a tethering,
Yeah, there's a tethering.
but no connection.
There's a tethering, 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 but no connection.
Like a boat can be tethered,
Like a boat tethered
or a vehicle.
vehicle. A boat that's tethered that longs for the ocean.
A boat that longs for the ocean.
A boat that is tethered that longs for the ocean.
It's in the ocean.
It's in the ocean.
It's just tethered.
Just tethered.
It can taste it.
It can taste it, definitely.
It's not in a shed somewhere.
Nope, it's not in a shed.
It's on the water.
It's on the water.
It can taste it.
Taste it, and it's ready to go.
The novel is almost written in my mind.
The novel is definitely written in my mind.
The energy is there.
The energy is there.
There's a tethering.
There's a tethering there.
Something saying, don't go out yet.
Something saying, you can't even go out.
It's not safe to go out.
It's not safe to go out.
You can't even go out.
You can't even go out.
You can't even do it.
You can't even do it.
You can't go out.
You can't go out.
Maybe it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. The boat's too small. You'll be consumed.
You will be consumed.
You will be consumed.
You will be consumed.
You were not made for this.
You were not made for this.
You were not made for this.
You'll be consumed.
You will be consumed by the waves.
The boat is too small.
The boat is too small.
You'll be consumed by the waves.
You will sink to the bottom for sure.
You're going to sink to the bottom.
You will sink to the bottom for sure.
Now, if that's accurate, then I'm glad I'm tethered.
Then I'm glad I'm tethered.
If that is true,
I
can appreciate the tether.
If that is true, then I can appreciate the tether.
If that's true, thanks for tethering me.
Thanks for tethering me.
It's quite possible that it was true.
It was true.
Maybe it was true.
Maybe it even was true.
When this tether was created, it may have been true.
It may have been true.
I may not have been
at
the place where I could handle that energy. It's quite possible that the tether was created at a time when it was necessary.
Can I tell you what's going
please.
on? Just a moment ago, I saw a rope being pulled through and flying away.
Okay, great.
And then I saw this image of a child just expand into an adult.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So this child is expanding. This rope is freeing.
This rope is being freed.
The rope is being freed. The child is expanding. I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to untangle the rope. I just brought it into awareness. I just welcomed it. And explored.
I'm seeing the sails open.
The sails are opening.
The sails are opening, and it's on the high seas.
The boat is sailing. It means it can handle it. It knows it can handle it. The energy just needed that little checking in. Hey, do we still need that tether? We did. We can thank it for being there.
Yes. I'm going to keep my eyes on the shore.
Now we
And
know
I'm
how
going
to
to,
sail.
yes, and I'm going to keep the shore within eyesight.
I'm going to keep the shore within eyesight.
Yeah. That
All
doesn't
the
mean I can't sail.
I can sail.
I can sail.
All the work I've done on myself.
All the work I've done on myself,
All this growth I've had.
all this growth I've had,
This is where I get to enjoy it.
and this is where I get to enjoy it.
This is the evidence.
This is the evidence.
I have graduated
I have graduated
from a boy
from a boy
who had to find his own path
who had to find his own path
out of fear and necessity
out of fear and necessity
into a man
into a man
who did find his own path
who did find his own path
and healed his past
and healed his past
and now has earned the right
and now has earned the right
to be the captain
to be the captain
of this ship.
of this ship.
And that's the beauty of a boat.
And that's the beauty of the boat.
It lets you have
It lets you have
the power of the ocean,
the power of the ocean,
that infinity,
that infinity,
but a certain level of control.
but a certain level of control.
That's why we don't just jump into the middle of the ocean.
Yes, that's why we don't just jump into the middle of the ocean.
And that's why we don't just jump into a boat
That's why we don't just jump into a boat
and sail out
and sail out
before we've got some stripes,
before we've got some stripes,
some experience under our belt.
some experience under our belt.
I know now
I know now
when the waves start looking too heavy.
when the waves start looking too heavy,
I know how to navigate that now.
I know how to navigate that now.
I've learned how to navigate that.
I've learned how to navigate that.
And I've just shown
And I've just shown
just now
just now
that some pretty heavy stuff can come up
some pretty heavy stuff can come up.
and pretty quickly.
And pretty quickly.
I navigate it.
I just saw an enormous wave go over the ship.
Yeah.
I'm recovering from the enormous wave hitting the boat, and I'm chuckling and I'm wiping my eyes and I'm shredding off the soaked, water, and I see the water spilling off the bow, and I'm still sailing.
Beautiful. I'm still sailing.
Still sailing.
I'm still sailing.
Yeah.
I had the impact.
I had the impact.
I could handle the impact.
I can handle the impact. I can handle the rough waters.
I can handle the rough waters.
I can handle the rough waters.
That's what the boat is for.
That is what the boat is for.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain.
I can handle the rough waters.
I can handle the rough waters.
And it could have been the case.
And it could have been the case
that some years ago, maybe those waters would have been too much.
Maybe those waters would have been too much.
That's why it was tethered.
That's why it was tethered.
Now it's time to free that.
Now it's time to free that.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It was all part of the process.
It's all part of the process.
Everything I did leading up to this.
Everything I did leading up to this.
Is why I can handle the impact.
Is why I can handle the impact.
I can handle the impact.
I can handle the impact.
And that's important to know.
And that's important to know.
That's what makes it safe to move forward.
That's why it's safe to move forward.
Because there will be some impacts. Somewhere in the publishers and editors and all that good stuff.
Somewhere in the publishers and the editors and all that good stuff.
There's going to be some moments.
Like,
oh, that's okay. I have to navigate that.
Yes, I have to navigate that.
I might have to make some decisions. People might have different opinions. I can navigate that. And most importantly,
anything I used to fear anything I used to fear,
what would happen
what would happen
if I put myself out there?
if I put myself out there?
I can navigate that now.
I can navigate that now.
That is unknown waters.
That is unknown waters.
What happens when I put this out there?
What happens when I put this out there?
This could get pretty big.
This could get pretty big.
People might want to interview me.
Feels like a big storm.
There could be big storms.
Yes.
And showing
that
those storms can be navigated.
And showing that those storms can be navigated
is a gift to everyone.
Is a gift to everyone.
And Brock, you can tell me if this is true. There may be a part of me.
And there may be a part of me
that knows
that
there's other young men out there.
That there's other young men
dealing with what I dealt with.
Dealing with what I dealt with.
And I can show them.
And I can show them.
Yeah, this can be navigated.
This can be navigated.
I know in that moment. It feels impossible.
It feels impossible.
But wouldn't it have been nice for me?
But wouldn't it have been nice for me?
To have someone say, hey, I went through that.
Say, hey, I went through that.
And I made it through.
And I made it through.
There is a way out.
There is a way out.
There is a beautiful gift.
There is a beautiful gift.
On the other side.
On the other side.
Just hang in there.
Just hang in there.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It might seem impossible.
It might seem impossible.
But hang in there.
But hang in there.
There's a boat.
There is a boat.
There's stuff on the other side.
There's stuff on the other side.
And the storms that I navigate.
And the storms that I navigate.
By sharing this kind of story.
By sharing this kind of story.
Not only shows myself.
Not only shows myself.
But is a gift to others.
But is a gift to others.
Saying, hey, you can navigate this.
And hey, you can navigate this.
And I get to say.
And I get to say.
And demonstrate.
And demonstrate.
What I didn't hear as a kid.
What I didn't hear as a kid.
Which is, hey, you're okay exactly as you are.
Hey, you're okay exactly as you are.
Exactly as you are.
Exactly as you are.
People won't, not everyone understands it.
Not everyone understands it.
But I understand it.
But I understand it.
You're okay.
You're okay.
You're okay as you are.
You're okay as you are.
Even if people say there's something wrong with it.
Even when people say there's something wrong with it.
They're not. They're misunderstanding something.
They're misunderstanding something.
They just don't understand.
They just don't understand.
They're too locked in their ways.
They're too locked in their ways.
But there's a way through it.
But there's a way through it.
You're not a mistake.
You are not a mistake.
There's nothing wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with you.
You're not a mistake.
You're not a mistake.
God didn't make a mistake.
God didn't make a mistake. My
Yep.
father made a mistake.
My father made the mistake.
Ooh. God did not make a mistake. My father made a mistake.
Remembering that when I was young.
Remembering when I was young.
My dad was God.
My dad was God.
So any remaining pain. That said, oh, God made a mistake with me.
That said, God made a mistake with me.
God thinks there's something wrong with me.
God thinks there's something wrong with me.
Allowing myself now. To feel that distinction. My father thought that.
My father thought that.
My father thought that.
My father thought that.
My father is not God.
My father is not God.
It's pretty clear to me now.
It's pretty clear to me now.
My father is not God.
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 God accepts me.
God accepts me.
Even accepts my father.
Even accepts my father.
He did not make a mistake with me.
God did not make a mistake with me.
God accepts me as I am.
God accepts me as I am.
It was my father who was confused.
It was my father who was confused.
And as a young child.
It was impossible
to know the difference.
It was impossible to know a difference.
It wasn't a choice.
It wasn't a choice.
It wasn't weakness.
It wasn't weakness.
It wasn't a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake.
It was impossible to know the difference.
It was impossible to know the difference.
But I see the difference now.
But I see the difference now.
My dad was not God.
My dad was not God.
My father was not God.
My father was not God.
So enjoying this freedom now.
Enjoying this freedom now.
Knowing that I can sail.
Knowing that I can sail.
Not only can I sail.
Not only can I sail.
But I can handle the tough waters.
But I can handle the tough waters.
And that's freedom.
And that's freedom.
It's not the imagination.
If not the imagination.
Of a perfectly smooth life.
Of a perfectly smooth life.
It's knowing I can handle the waters.
It's knowing I can handle the waters.
Knowing I can handle the waters.
Knowing I can handle the waters.
It's safe to move forward with the book.
It's safe to move forward with the book.
At whatever pace is safe.
At whatever pace is safe.
Just letting that message sink in.
Just letting that message sink in.
I can handle the waters.
I can handle the waters.
I can handle it.
I can handle it.
I can handle moving forward.
I can handle moving forward.
With the novel.
With the novel.
My body is free from my father.
My body is free from my father.
And now my mind is.
And now my mind is.
My mind is becoming more and more free.
My mind is becoming more and more free.
The tether is gone.
The tether is gone.
The cords are gone.
The cords are gone.
The energy is freeing up.
The energy is freeing up.
I can move forward.
And I can move forward.
I don't have to force it.
You don't have to force it.
The energy will guide it.
Energy will guide it.
Now that it's free, it will guide it.
Now that it is free, it will guide it.
And I will allow it to do just that.
And I will allow it to do just that.
All right, let's take a breath there. Give yourself a moment. Take a sip of something if you need to. Let me know how you're feeling.
Well, I'm overwhelmed right now
Yes.
with a story emerging in my head.
Like to write?
Mm-hmm. And I have had a shell of a story called Eye of the Storm, but it's I, the letter I of the
Beautiful.
storm. And it's a story about a young, I won't belabor this, but it's a story of a young boy who has an older brother, and the brother's kind of psychotic, and they're out sailing, and the psychotic older brother puts a boy in a dinghy to teach him how to sail, and the boy falls over in the ocean, and the older brother is just like, just crawl into the boat, and he can't, and he's finally rescued by the brother, finally, after being tortured. And now as an adult, this man has to overcome his fear of getting on a boat to go save someone.
Fascinating.
And it's called Eye of the Storm. Yeah. That story has been brewing for a long time, but that facet of it has just came to me now. And that's like story number 10. So
wow. Great.
So I'm going to document a bunch of that. And so that's how healed I am from just this moment. That
beautiful.
Yeah, it took a story, it took a horrible story and turned it into another story. So thank you.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, I feel I will not be offended, of course, if you jump off and want to start writing.
I really do. Thank you.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
And you are awesome. You are.
Thanks,
I am so thankful you exist.
Likewise.
I'm serious.
You really encouraged me along the way. So.
Good. Thank you.
Admire everything you've done. And
I think I'll just mute myself and stay on the call.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
And
thanks so much
again.